Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at theofftherecordshow@gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo, and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
Man, you jumped the gun a little bit.
Yeah, nah.
You all right, man?
I don't know, man.
Hey, well, before we get started, Scott's hurt right now, but this is off the record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
I'm just Scott today, man.
Damn. Yeah. So soon, you know.
Yeah, he's Scott.
You all right, man?
Nah, I'm not. I'm not all right.
Do you want to share with the people? Or do you want to wait?
I get some things off my chest, man.
Man.
You know, March Madness is coming up, and
We're here. It's March, and folks are mad.
Actually, tonight, you know. And let me tell you, right? You know, every year everybody's obsessed with the brackets, the bracket challenges, the tournament knockouts. Sure, a ton of people will be betting on games, and you know, we're no different. I know we've talked about it on the show before. Is March the best time of year for sports, or is it October? And when you know, just we've debated. It's been a healthy debate on that.
Right.
A couple of years ago, good buddy Ant, longtime friend Jason,
who's been on the show.
You've been on the show
from day one.
Plays in the OTR league.
He won the
OTR league. Very, very, very good dude, man. But he has a game, and it's called Squares, and you have like the scores. You know,
everybody knows about the squares.
You know, everybody may not know, so I'll speed it up. But it's by far my most favorite game to play during March Madness, and I want to tell you, all week I've been looking forward to.
He's not lying.
The squares, and it got bad, man. It got bad, man. I had been checking my emails, checking my texts. I called Ant, asked him had he seen the brother.
Had he seen him?
Yeah. Had he forgot about me? And,
go ahead, man. I'm not laughing at you. I promise.
And then, man, right before we get on the air, he tells me that Jason's not doing the squares this year, man. And
he's devastated.
It's the worst news.
He's devastated, folks.
Yeah. It's the worst news I heard all day, man.
Hey, Scott, so I'm sorry. Listen, I spoke to Jason today, and if y'all can hear me, say something, please, because I don't know. This we got new old mics because they was your joint blinking red, mine blue. I don't know why your joint blinking red, but we gonna see. Because listen, if y'all don't hear Scott in a little bit, it's probably because he's sad. Anyway, so I told Jason earlier, I said Scott's gonna be devastated. I said he's probably gonna curse you out on the show.
No, I ain't gonna curse him out. Good guy, man. I can't curse him out because I want to invite next year.
All right, but nah. There's no RIP to the squares. It's just a brief a year off. You know, sometimes a lot's been happening this year. You know, we're most of us are government workers or used to be government employees. So you kind of, even if you're not a government employee, you kind of have a sense of, you know, you feel I don't want to say feel sorry for them, but you kind of understand them, the issues that they're going through, you know, with this new administration. So I was expecting to play the squares and everything, but I understood, you know.
Oh yeah, I think and you bring up a good point.
Yeah. And shout out to Jason, man. I ain't gonna put his business out, but you know he got promotion.
Yeah,
you know, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
you know.
So major salute.
More money, more problems is what I say. But nah. Shout out to Jason. We'll be back next year. Well, let me not say we. He'll be back next year with the squares, and you'll be able to play, man. So
man.
You know,
this year that money I'll just gamble away. I mean,
the good thing is now we got parlays. You can do whatever it is that you got to do in regards to gambling. So, but damn, that joint was fun, man. It was, so it'll be back. So nonetheless, we got a lot to talk about today. Like you stated, March Madness is here. We have another playing game today. I think VCU plays BYU today. That should be a good game. I want VCU to win, but I think BYU is probably gonna pull it. But I'm going for VCU, so I'm going for VCU. But let's talk about the tournament, man.
So I got a question for you. You brought up the play-in game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously North Carolina, they won yesterday.
Right.
Most people have really considered that team a disastrous team, and they barely got into the tournament.
Right.
So there's been a lot of debate, right? So I believe with them winning, they go to number 11.
Yeah, they're number 11, so they play a 4 seed. No,
it's 6 seed.
Yeah.
Do you think like they should be like, if you're in that play-in tournament, like you should automatically go to 16?
No. So initially, that's when they first brought that in, that's all they did was had the 16 seeds. But I like the fact that you got 11 seeds, you got 16 seeds, you kind of balance it out. Is because honestly, who wants to watch four 16s play each other, or 4 games of 16 seeds? I think that if and they were smart about it, but if you want viewership, you can try and get some of the better, the closer teams that may not be a 16 seed. It may be like an 11 seed or a 12 seed or a 10 seed, whatever. So I do like that. But in regards to North Carolina, I think that their history got them into this tournament.
Absolutely.
I feel like teams like West Virginia, who, man, the governor is going crazy. I mean, he's ready for war, but West Virginia definitely should be in a tournament. I think Louisville should be higher, but I think that's what we've all been hearing. Now the problem is you're giving the team, North Carolina's team, so much motivation that they might mess around and go to the Final Four. I'm not saying that they will. What I'm saying is that, like, the way everybody's talking about them, that can't do nothing but fuel you.
Yeah. So I look at North Carolina like this.
Mm-hmm.
Before the college season, they were ranked pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to say that they underachieved the season will be probably accurate. But what you just brought up is you never know in the tournament. All you got to do is get hot at the right time, and you can go on the run, and you can be there. Now, do I think that they're going to go on the run? Nah, I don't think so.
Do you think they win first round?
So they got Ole Miss first round, right?
Mm-hmm. Ole Miss is good, though.
Yeah, I have Ole Miss, I believe, and most of my brackets are beating North Carolina.
You got to have them at least in I don't know, but we'll see. So Ole Miss is one. You got 14 SEC teams. I mean, I think almost all the SEC teams made it except for two.
It's a strong year for them.
14 teams.
No, I mean, but I was surprised because normally the SEC for basketball, yeah, they have a couple teams, but it's not like you don't never see 14 teams.
Right. Yeah, it's that's a lot. And we'll talk about who we have, winning the championship a little later. But Ole Miss, like it was funny because you had Auburn versus Alabama at one point. It was 1 versus 2.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute, what is this? Is not the Iron Bowl? What are we doing right now? And those two teams have shown that they're 2 of the top teams in the country. And if the SEC can't lay an egg, they can't. Right. They have to perform well. So you have these 14 teams. I personally think that Florida is, man, they look damn good. Yeah, they look damn good. And I still think Auburn is going to be all right. It's going to be. I'm excited. I haven't been this excited for the tournament in some time. It's been some years.
You know what scares me about Auburn?
What's up?
Their star player, I can't think of his name.
He's up for player of the year.
Yeah. It's not a good free throw shooter.
Right.
And that can hinder you when you're later on in the tournament.
Yep.
I believe he's only like shooting like 60% from the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you got good teams out there, man. They'll use that as a strategy, to where, like, let's say he's getting to the basket, but he's being forced to shoot free throws. I think that could hinder them. Now, will it be enough to prevent them from winning a national championship? I still think they have a good shot. I like Bruce Pearl.
Yeah.
I think most people like the route for Bruce Pearl, but I'm kind of with you, and I mean, we can get to it. I like Florida's opportunity, man. They're
Florida, man. It's gonna be crazy.
Well, they flew under the radar,
mm-hmm.
And then I think now it's hard to count them out, just being what we saw in the SEC tournament from them.
Yeah, I mean, Florida was super dominant in the SEC tournament. And let me stop. We got in our Madden League right now, the score is 35-21, top of the 4th. All right. Anyway, I think Florida is very dominant, and you look at that team, like you probably, most people don't know the players on the team because but I think that they got a shot to be like they have to be one of the favorites in the whole tournament. One of the sleepers I think is going to be Georgia. I mean, I didn't mean to say Georgia, Tennessee. Okay. I know some people may pick Tennessee.
So would you consider them a sleeper at number 2 though?
Well, I guess not. I guess I mean, so also if you're number 2, you're like one of the top 8 teams in the country.
Yeah.
But I don't see a lot of people picking them to win the tournament.
So right now, you got a lot of people going with Houston,
mm-hmm.
Duke. Let's just say all number 1. So you got Florida at number 1,
mm-hmm.
and it's Auburn at number 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about Auburn, talked about Florida.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Duke?
Well, personally, I think that if Cooper Flag is as hurt as it looks, since he didn't play the rest of the ACC tournament, they would be in trouble. I don't think, from what I understand, he's going to play the whole tournament. But if they don't have him, they're toast. They can win round 1 without him, but moving forward, I don't think it's gonna be that easy. In the tournament, anything can happen. But if he's hindered the way I don't have them getting past the Sweet 16 right now. I think I personally don't think Duke is as good as
Without him, no, I mean,
Well, even with him, I don't think that they're one of the. I don't think they can make it to the Final Four.
I think with a healthy Cooper Flag, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some concerns about his injury. Okay, no, I can give you that, and I kind of.
And Duke is the one seed in what, the East. So they have to play. So in their bracket, so I think we all could say they're gonna win round one. They better win round one. So waiting for them would be the winner of Baylor, Mississippi State. But then you still have Oregon, Liberty, Arizona. Well, no, I'm not going to say all the teams, but you got Oregon, Arizona. I have VCU beating BYU. Oh yeah. You got Wisconsin, Alabama, and they're not getting out of the East. They're not.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I don't think they get past Arizona, honestly.
They need Cooper Flag healthy. I think we could both agree to that. So the team that I'm having a tough time really evaluating is Houston.
They're good.
They're good, but I feel like they're good every year. And I feel like every time I put my stock in Houston, they disappoint me in some way. Kelvin Sampson has always had that team playing really good.
Right.
They've got tremendous guard play. I like their guards. They can shoot. They don't struggle to score. And defensively, they're probably one of the better teams in the tournament defensively. Like they don't like you're not going to be able to score on them. I don't know. I want to pick them, but I feel like every year at some point I pick Houston to at least go to the Final Four, Elite Eight, and they figure out how to like.
Well, I'll say this. They got a good team. I met Kevin Sampson over the summertime covering the.
While you were in Houston.
And while I was in Houston covering the TBT.
Okay, this is like your second team, right?
I can't go against Houston, but I I got them going to the Final Four.
Okay.
It's not going to be easy, but I mean, so with Houston, do you? I can't like not pick them, right? That's like my second home, kind of, sort of now.
Yeah, I think you have to pick them, and I think that they've demonstrated over the course of the season that they're a number one team. Right? I just, for whatever reason, it feels like every time I say, you know what, this is their year, it just goes the opposite way. And look, we're talking about the 4 ones right now. It wouldn't surprise me if no one's made it. I mean, that's just
I agree.
That's just how it is. Like, literally, I was listening to a guy the other day, and he was saying that he could basically just go to work and give his bracket to like anybody that doesn't watch sports. Have them pick the teams, and they will more than likely do better than he would. Yeah.
That's.
And I want to tell you, I want to be honest too. The more I sit there and dissect teams, the worse I always do. Like the seasons to where I'm just really heavily in the college basketball, and I've seen a lot of the top teams, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I know what's going on. That's when I lose. The times that I barely watch a game and just so happen to fill out a bracket, I've won brackets that way and been like, I don't know how.
It's weird, man. But this year I try. It's almost like I don't want to say I haven't, because I've watched some games this year, but I don't want to be an expert. I don't. I want to be a fan. And I kind of just want to play the guessing game. I feel like just off the feeling, like pure emotion. No strategy. No, this team it plays in the far west. They're above elevation or whatever. And I just want to pick teams.
Well, I think what makes the tournament so special, and my favorite part of the tournament, is seeing that team that has that dog on that team, and you're like, dang, I've never heard of this guy. Where did this guy come from? And then they just become the darling of the tournament because you're like, man, that guy can hoop. But nobody knows about him. So I think that's my favorite part is finding that team that you like, oh man, these guys can ball, or dang, they got all seniors. Like I didn't know they had all seniors or whatever the case. So I'm looking forward to that.
Now I will say this: what I kind of don't really like, right? Now is it Auburn who has a really old team, but I don't want to see 26, 27-year-olds playing in the NCAA tournament. You know, and we're gonna have that this year, but I don't want to see that. That's like I forget which team it is. Their starting five is older in age than the Oklahoma City Thunder's starting five. I might be Auburn. I think it's either Auburn or Tennessee. Their starting five average age is higher than Oklahoma City's starting five. I don't want to, but I'm going to enjoy the games because you know what? It is what it is.
So if you're a coach, is that what you want?
Some coaches do. So I mean, that's the way
it gives you that experience.
You have, It's coaches. It's some coaches that said they're not recruiting high school kids, which I think is jacked up. You know, and that's mainly for basketball, of course. It's not going to be like that for football. But
the transfer portal is set up now,
right?
You don't have to recruit high school kids. You can get.
I think you'll be doing your program a disservice by not recruiting high school kids.
I agree, but I guess if that's your strategy, if you are not wanting to develop like young talent, and you're like, you know what, let me just go in there. I'll get a player that at least proven that they've got the discipline to be at a D1 school, or maybe they were at a D2 school, but they're ready to make the leap. But I think to your point, how you do get better is you got to find players that believe in your program and develop and pour into them. And if you can get those players that believe like, okay, you know what? I don't mind sitting for a year. I don't mind sitting for 2 years, but I'm just going to work hard and I'll be ready when my opportunity comes. And the way that you get that is by recruiting high school kids. So, yeah, I agree. You are doing yourself a disservice.
Hey, hold on. The Austin Commanders have won the Super Bowl.
I saw. Shout out to Joe.
Shout out to Joe, man.
It is going to be a hurt.
So we gonna. I know a lot of y'all be like, what in the world are they talking about? So, like I said before, we playing this Madden League, and you know, it's just a bunch of grown adults acting like kids. And honestly, we work hard, so we deserve to act like kids, at least a little bit, you know. So screw it. But no, back to what you were saying. So here's another thing. That college coaches, or high school players, the one good thing is, and I do feel like they should, hopefully they can hear you. They should still be able to hear you. But I don't know. Just hit the button on the top. No, on the top. It's on there somewhere. But nonetheless, we'll just talk louder. But I feel like they can go to JUCO for 2 years. I know at least for football, and I'm assuming it's the same for basketball. But at least in football, if you don't get the looks that you feel like you're gonna get, you can go to a JUCO, play there for a year or two, and still have 4 years of eligibility to play whatever level, 1, 2, Division 1, Division 2, whatever. and go from there. I think that that'd be pretty dope, you know, to an extent. I honestly didn't like it, but then thinking about it, you know, you have like, you know, just some of the kids that I coach, right, that may or may not be ready for Division I ball yet. If that's their main goal, I want to go to Division I. I want to play D1. I want to play D1. But you're not ready. Go play JUCO. Go somewhere to a 2-year school. You know, develop, get stronger, get faster.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're smart enough, you can flip it, get some NIL money, and do what you got to do. But some people are just like, oh, I want to go D1, and if I can't go D1 right now, then I don't want to play it. And the thing is, if you're a senior and you're saying that, it's a wrap.
But do you think it's because of the pressure that we put on people about not you so much, but making it seem like if you don't play D1, that's not like that's the top of the top of the chain. Like if you don't play D1, you're not good.
And so the good high school coaches know that they'll find you wherever you go. It's not like there's only D1 players that's playing in the NFL. You got FBS, you got FCS, you got Division II players in the NFL, you got some Division III players in the NFL. So if you know what we try to tell kids, the important thing, honestly, is the education, right? If you got a school that's gonna pay for your education, go. What? If you don't have the interest of the Division I schools or those big Power 4 schools, you ain't listen. If they ain't heard about you your junior year, your sophomore year, it's highly unlikely that you're gonna be a senior and all of a sudden they're gonna find you, right? Somebody between those other 2 years would have heard about you. And even if they didn't, you have to be super special your senior year. You have to check every single box. You can't be, and I'm not, this is no shot at anybody, but you can't be a 5'5", 5'6" quarterback and think you're gonna just automatic and just be regular and think you're just gonna you have to be extraordinary. Like it's crazy how good you have to be to go Power 4 and no one talked to you before then. You got guys like Josh Allen that had one Division I scholarship, and that was to Wyoming. And Josh Allen, mind you, he didn't just become 6'5" in the NFL. He was already that size. You know, he might have gotten a little strong and whatever in the league. But when Josh Allen was drafted, he was probably the tallest quarterback in his class. He didn't just get a strong arm. So it's like if somebody like that and some of these other superstars that we see, you got to be special to go Power 4. Like even forget your senior year, you have to be special. Like you have to have some sort of special. You got to be special. You got to stand out. And some of these kids don't stand out. They are good players. Like there's a lot of good athletes playing high school football, but you got to have it, right? And not to mention you got to have the grades as well. So some people just think that they're supposed to be given a Division I opportunity. No, and if you don't go Power 4, you still got the FCS. And there's a ton of good players.
I have a question about that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like a freshman and a sophomore, how do you get noticed and get on?
You go to camps. So yeah, you go to the camps during the off season. Like right now, you should be preparing. So if you're a freshman going to your sophomore year, you should be in the weight room. Your high school coaches shouldn't have to tell you to go to the weight room. You should be putting in the work, doing work, getting work on your own. There's a ton of trainers, I know that. But you go to these camps, and at those camps, you that's how a lot of these kids get their ratings and things of that nature. And you have to show out at these camps because there's going to be college coaches there. There's going to be recruiters. There's going to be a ton of people there. And so because there's a lot of good competition in high school, everywhere. There's good competition. But if no one knows who you are, then you just, so you go to these camps and you get recognized, and that's how you do it. Now,
and then you go back, you play your season,
and people got their eye on you, right? So I mean, it's sometimes they could be recruiting someone else. These colleges could be recruiting someone else, and you show out on the film, things like that. You never know who's watching. Ultimately, you never know who's watching. So, I mean, some of these kids do have to. I mean, they just have to not be so concerned about Division I, and know that there's a multitude of colleges that you could play at. You could play if you can't make it on the FBS level. That's okay. That don't mean you won't make it to the next level. You could play FCS. You could play Division II. You could play Division III, or even JUCO. Right? And honestly, the JUCO route is probably one of the best routes now. Because and before, but now you still get 4 years eligibility. That's crazy. So you ultimately could play college football for 6 years. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, guys can't be so hell bent. Oh, I gotta go to Clemson or Miami or Notre Dame or Michigan. Everybody ain't gonna make it there. You know what I'm saying? You can go to a lower level school. You could go to a Liberty. I mean, Liberty's FBS now, but you could go to LaSalle or one of these other schools that's in the Patriot League if you got good grades. I mean, there's a ton of schools you could go to, man. Exactly. Like if you could play college, you're gonna play college. They're gonna find you. They're gonna find you, and because we've seen it. We've seen it. So. Again, if there's a high school coach telling a kid that is D1 or nothing, they're doing that kid a disservice. I mean, because that is really no reason that you should be telling the kid that, because everybody's not is not physically able to play on that level. It is what it is. So but yeah, that was my soapbox. Because it does, like, I kind of get annoyed sometimes when a kid says, I just want to play D1, and you don't really want to play college football, because that to me is telling me that you don't want to play college football, because especially if you are not putting in the work. So if you're not going to the weight room, but you say you want to play D1. Or you like a C student, but you want to play D1. Like it ain't just on the football field. Like, you got to put in the work in the classroom. So if you're not putting in the work, how do you expect to be a D1? You gotta prepare for So yeah, because mommy ain't gonna be there for you to say, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. Once you get to school, you on your own. You are on your own. So, we're probably gonna clip that and put that on Instagram. But nah, all right. So I mean, we talked college. The NBA is gearing up for the home stretch for the playoffs, right? And one of the biggest issues that I've seen lately is rest, right? And so I want to say the Nuggets played the Warriors a few nights ago. And I mean, Joker didn't play, Murray didn't play, Brown didn't play, and I think one other person or whatever. And they still won, right? Mind you, for the Warriors, Steph played, Draymond played, What's his name? Butler played, and it's like, damn, like, so and then last night, Curry didn't play, and they played the Bucks, and they won. It's
I mean,
it's
hey,
weird.
I think, like you said, everybody's gearing up.
Mm-hmm.
I know we both have been adamant that the season did not start off the way that we wanted to
Right.
start off, but it's like transition to a lot of different storylines,
Right.
That have been
I like it.
cool
I like it.
to kind of watch and see how they play out. So
Mhm.
I'm interested to see what the playoffs looks like. I know the NBA is probably going to go into like a little of a quiet mode just because everybody's going to be kind of focused on March Madness.
Correct.
And you kind of get everybody's like researching the draft, like, who their teams are going to
Right.
pick, and we're getting ready for that. So by the time the draft is finalized, March Madness is over, everybody will be ready to just go full throttle into watching NBA games. But
I think the playoffs are going to be really good. I know the last couple years I've been down on the NBA, right? I think, and I'm gonna give Jamal his props, right? But I think that Luka trade to the Lakers might have saved the NBA season.
it did, because it's not just that, right? The Jimmy Butler to Golden State.
Mhm.
I think, not that I'm saying that they're comparable trades.
Right,
because
right.
Obviously, like the Luka AD trade to go down is one of the strangest.
So let's stop right real quick and hold your thought. Did you hear that Anthony Davis was gonna play in the G League, like for rehab? Did you hear about that? All right, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that.
So look,
Mm-hmm.
now we're not going. Let's stop there, right? I like Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of us like Anthony Davis,
Uh-huh.
but I don't want to see him play any other basketball other than what's on the court. Like, I think you run a risk with him just getting hurt in the G League. I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on that? Because I don't think they should take their chances. I think, honestly, they probably just need to go ahead and sit Anthony Davis for the rest of the year, and we'll just call it a draw, man.
Yeah. So normally it would be rehabilitated, but I don't think he's gonna do it. Well, being that Kyrie is out for the year,
Makes no sense.
But what if they make it to the play-in?
I saw something. Saw J.R. Smith
Mm-hmm.
is thinking about coming back with the Cavs. And it was because they only had 8 players. J.R. Smith, man, he's been, shout out to him getting his education out there playing golf,
Mm-hmm.
Doing J.R. Smith stuff. And I was just kind of like, it's there. Like if it's there, yeah, man, he just needs to just go ahead and rest for the rest of the year. I mean, I have nothing against J.R. Smith, but anytime a team is like,
but there's other players that they could pick up instead of J.R. Smith.
no, but I'm just saying, like, he's ready to play. Like it's gotten that bad where he like, well, shoot, I got 8 players. Like I can suit up still. I could play like it's.
So word is that he practiced with the G League guys while he was with the Lakers. Okay, I mean,
it's not a bad idea. It's just for him. I just think he just needs to get all the way healthy. Sit down, chill out, like because.
Let me tell you something though, Scott. Now I know it's different. It could build your G League, because let me tell you something. And I know baseball is different, but it's the same thing. You get reassigned for rehab. So Steve Strasburg, he was the man for the Nationals. He was part of the World Series team. He was the. and you can correct me if I'm wrong. When Strasburg came into Major League Baseball, he was as big as that was like Nolan Ryan coming into Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
He was a huge deal. So anyway, fast forward to probably 3 or 4 years ago. I forget when it was. The Fredericksburg Nationals. He was reassigned to play for the Fredericksburg Nationals. Scott, let me tell you something. That stadium only holds maybe 4,000 people.
4,000 is a stretch.
Yeah, 4,000 is a stretch, right? It was 8,000, almost 10,000 people out there to see Steve Strasburg. And mind you, this is after COVID. This might have been 2 years ago. It might have been true because he just anyway. So if Anthony Davis was to go to what Texas, whatever they are, Generals, huh?
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, people going to show up. They're going to want to see what he does. He's probably going to be limited. He's probably going to play like 2 minutes. It's more of him just making sure that he's healthy. But with that being said, I don't want to see Anthony Davis in the G League. That just seems crazy. Like
it's nasty work, but
so I mean, we'll see. But regardless, I think that I agree with you. I think they probably should just sit them down, see what they're gonna do in the offseason as far as getting the team together, because they have the shortest of windows. I mean, they don't have like 2-3 years to just say, all right, we're gonna build this thing up now. They have to go out in this offseason and they got to get some superstars. So if that means getting Kevin Durant and getting somebody else.
So I'm not gonna lie, that's what I want to see. I want to see Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and AD.
You're gonna have to add somebody else.
You can add somebody else.
Well, Clay is there, so
yeah, I think it'll be one of the most potential to get hurt or fragile teams.
You know that team is going to be worse than the Brooklyn Nets when Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and all of them went there.
Yeah,
that's what the team is going to be.
But to your point, I think the window is there, right? I think.
Hey, look. If this is the bottom of the window, that joint right here, the window about to close. The window's about to close.
I don't know. Call me crazy.
Crazy.
But I would love to see that. Now,
I mean, I wouldn't mind.
Would they be successful? I mean, I'll say it again. Basketball is really a young man's game, and it's tough. You gotta have the right mix. Like I like what Detroit did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they figured out like, okay, we've got all these young pieces.
And Houston.
Houston too. And they brought in the right mix of veterans to kind of like speed up the progression. Like you can't just have all young guys, but you got to have some. You can't just have all 30-year-olds on the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I'm not mad at the NBA. I think that but I mean, I like what Cleveland's doing. Boston is probably going to win the championship anyway, but LA is right there. Those young gunners though, but Houston and Detroit, like we were saying, they're both going to be are going to have home court advantage. Like it's crazy, man. I'm excited for the playoffs. I know I was down on basketball, but I think the playoffs are going to be exciting.
It's going to rejuvenate everybody. I think just the March, like everybody's going to have. This is going to be a good March Madness. I can feel it. Even though we don't have the squares going,
it's going to be all right, man. It's going to be all right. So I know Miami's playing right now. Everybody knows my ties to Miami, but is it time? They've been struggling. Is it time for Pat Riley to say it's time for me to go?
Yes.
Now, if that happens, do you move Spoelstra to where Pat Riley is and bring in a new coach?
I think you bring in Spoelstra, like you move Spoelstra up. I think Pat Riley has had a terrific run.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the reality of it is basketball is just different now. And you kind of saw it with like Jimmy Butler, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Jimmy Butler is a bad guy. I don't think that he's a bad teammate.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that you have to reach him a little bit different. The superstars of today are a lot different. And Pat Riley has his way. His way is a proven way that's worked. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but it's kind of almost like what we're seeing, what we saw with Belichick.
Yeah.
You know, it's not saying that they're bad coaches or you know they're not where they need to be in history, but eventually you have to adjust something.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not willing to adjust, then you got to move on. I mean, it's not the same formula. I mean, Pat Riley, he still wants everybody in shape, to top shape. He wants to play a certain way. I mean, Spoelstra still plays that way, but the reality is they're not landing the top free agents. They're not pairing that team with the superstars that I feel like they need to pair with.
Right.
And, you know, they had a good window. They had a good window that they were there, but they were just maybe one, maybe two pieces away that.
So they was over. So they was, you saying that they've
always overachieved. I feel like those teams with Bam, Butler, Cal, Hero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all those teams like overachieved. Like nobody really looked at, I mean, other than you, right? I mean, for obvious reasons, you were the one that said, yeah, Miami's got a shot this year, or Miami's winning the championship. And, you know, I'd sit right here and laugh at you. I'm sure other people will laugh at you. And they would figure out how to get it done. And, you know, I say,
well, maybe people should just start listening to me. I think that's what it is. Start listening to me. But look, we ain't gonna be here all night, mainly because
I got a fancy draft to go to.
Yeah. So and you know, Royals guy got to handle some Royals business, but I think that March Madness is here, and it's gonna and I think we're gonna have a good tournament, you know, and then followed by we can't forget the women. We cannot forget the women. The women's tournament last year. Last year, the women's tournament was way better than the men's tournament. I think this year, it probably still be better.
Right.
But all right, so let's real quick before we get out of here. Who you got winning the national championship? You don't even got to give me a Final Four. Who you got? Who in most of your brackets? Who is that yours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Who do you have winning the national championship in the men's? Florida for the men. I have I'm gonna stick with my Auburn pick. For the women.
For the women, I'm gonna go with a dark horse because I have not been watching too much women's, but I'm gonna go with USC.
All right, well, I'm going USC as well, but I'm going with the Gamecocks. USC.
Oh.
I think that they are pissed, and they are going. But I wouldn't mind seeing USC versus USC in the national championship. That, oh my God! Listen. The women's tournament is gonna be better than the men's again, you know. But all right, well, we'll talk about it some more next week. We may, I don't know, yeah, next week. I ain't even going, you know. But this Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Scotty B.
We out of here.
Anthony Adebayo. We off the record.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B. We off the record.